We have Jason Prendergast. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
Longtime PGA professional, but I have you here for a different reason today. And that reason is, and I don't know how long you've been doing this, but you wrote a book and I read the book and it is phenomenal.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so I was really excited to have you here. The name of the book is Dream Driven. And Jason, like, it's a different type of book. So knowing you, all I know from you is golf. Like, it's you and I, we play in tournaments together. It's
Yeah.
just golf. But this book is so much more than golf. I think it's about life. It's about love. It's about your work ethic. I mean, come on, work ethic right here.
Yeah, that's in there.
And then there's a little bit of golf, but not a lot of golf. But, I think it's a book that everybody can read. How long have you been writing this? And where did it, in your mind, where did it come up with, hey, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this right here. So just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, I started writing in 2018, and part of the writing process, which will blow your mind, is all the stuff you have to cut out to actually make the book work and to make
Really?
chapter 1 go to 2 and 3 and then tie into chapter 35. So there's so much of the book that didn't make it in there.
Really?
So, and this story is one of those. So in 2018, I'm helping my daughter get through she's a high school student, helping her get through one of life's challenges and one of the fears that we all face in high school, right?
Yeah.
Belonging and,
Yeah.
right, and the fear of failing and just all of the things that we battle in high school and in life, really. And so I'm helping her one night get through it all. And I got done and I hung up the FaceTime and I went, seriously, if you're going to ask her to do that, you've been running away from yours for like ever. You need to start writing. Because I'd wanted to write a book, but to put who am I to write a book?
Yeah, right.
Right? I mean, there's so many external views or perceptions or images on someone that's going to write a book. And then you're going to write a memoir, which is about your life story. Who am I to share my story? What is my story? It's one of a few billion people on the planet. So what makes it so special? So I was afraid of so many things that people were going to think about. And I was like, if I'm going to ask my daughter to face hers, I got to start facing mine. So this part doesn't make it in the book. And it's the first night of or not the first night, but it's during the Olympics. It's like February the 18th, 2018, I think is the date. And the Olympics are going on. And Matty Mastro is a snowboarder. I'm from Vermont, but I don't snowboard. I ski.
Northern Vermont.
Northern Vermont. Yeah, we're like reach up and touch Canada kind of thing. And I'm watching Matty Mastro at the top of the mountain, and she's doing the half pipe tricks, aerials on a snowboard. And I watch her go down. The announcers are pumping her up. She goes down, crashes on her first one, right? So you make it to the Olympics. You're one of the best in the world, and you crash on the first run. The second run, she does a little easier routine, crashes on her second aerial. So she can still win gold, though, right? Crash, win gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just got storybook written all over it. Goes up, does her biggest trick ever, crashes.
Oh my gosh.
So she made it to the Olympics. She's like 16, first time ever. Crash, one aerial performed, crash, and snowboards out of sight of the camera and possibly out of the world forever. And I thought, wow. Everyone else may not remember her, but I'm going to. Just watching her leave, she was obviously devastated, but watching her leave, and I thought, that takes a lot of courage to do that. Surely I can write a book. So I started writing, and that was the first night I wrote.
It really does take a lot of courage. And what you find when you're reading this book is it's a lot of personal items and feelings that maybe the closest people to you didn't know.
Yeah, it's pretty vulnerable. You dive in a lot. My brother read it, and my younger brother, and he and I are very close, and he got done reading it. And of course, he's got to like it. He's my brother, right?
Sure,
so he's got to like it. And then so after he's filling me in on the stuff that he liked, I said, all right, so how much of this is new for you? How much of the book did you not know? And he said, well, I knew a lot of the stories. He said, but 75 or 80% of it, I had no idea.
That's absolutely incredible.
And I said, yeah. And I said, well, he said, I knew about Oakmont. Yeah. I knew about you and Kathleen. I knew about so many stories, but I had no idea the stuff that you were going through to get there. And I said, well, sure. I mean, that's fear of sharing those pieces. Cause what if
100%.
you don't make it? Right. So you protect yourself. And of course you get home and you want to share all the exciting things of your life. And then all the scary things we just kind of put in the closet and close the door. The problem is they never go away. But I put them all in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. And I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was really, I would say, inspirational to read it. And it makes you go, what am I doing? What's my end goal where I am? And it makes you think about it. So I think it's a book that everybody needs to read, not only if only a aspiring PGA professional, but it can be whatever you're doing in life, an aspiring dentist, that this is a really good read. So I really appreciate it. But, so I have some extra questions that probably
Yeah,
didn't make it in the book
that's okay.
that you probably wrote,
Fire away.
that you wrote in there. My first one is, so you learned to play golf and you became pretty good at golf to be able to get to Mississippi State. Who taught you to play golf? Was it George? I mean, obviously he was one of the first people that you went out on the golf course with, but who taught you to play?
Yeah, so George,
I just,
yeah, yeah, George Nichols exposed me to golf.
yeah,
And I go into that in the book and the journey of, and I was 19, so, and none of my friends played, and I played a lot of sports growing up, but never golf.
everything.
And you don't do, you tend to do as a kid what your parents did or what they were really good at, right? That kind of thing. You tend to follow their passions when you're young. So golf was never a part of my life until I was 19. And then I couldn't afford anything. And I couldn't afford a golf lesson. I couldn't afford new
Yeah.
golf balls. I mean, I played number one, grew up in Vermont, so it's tree lined everywhere. I'd hit my tee ball off of number one. And if it was on the left side of the fairway, I'd go into the woods and I'd walk up looking for golf balls. And then I'd find hopefully one or two. And then I'd pop out about where my ball was.
So you're one of those people that you would go in with losing one and come back two and be
Yeah,
like, well, I'm on ahead.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then I'd get out on the fairway, and my driver wasn't always one of the best clubs in my bag at the time. And so I'd get out in the fairway and I'd write a 1 and a 2 on my golf ball, and I'd hit 2 shots from the fairway into the green because it was a 9-hole course and
Yeah.
allowed me to play 18.
Wearing jeans.
Yeah,
Shirt, the
just
whole
kind of
deal.
everything,
Yeah.
right? But as far as who taught me how to play, I was self-taught. Again, I couldn't really afford a golf lesson or anything, and I didn't know anybody that played or
Yeah.
that was good or bad. So I bought Golf Magazine, Golf Digest, and Golf Tips, and I would read every article. I'd tear them out of the magazine.
Good or bad?
Good or bad. I'd put them in plastic folders, and then I would have one on chipping and putting and bunkers and draws and all the things. And then I got a couple of mirrors, and I put one in front of me and I put one to the side of me, and I started copying what I saw in the magazine with the several pictures that they were doing in Golf
That's
Digest.
incredible.
So I would copy them. The problem is one month I would copy Ernie Els, and then the next month Freddie Couples would be on the cover. And so now I'd have to try to copy him. Little did I know that it was really not a good idea. I'm still trying to get out of those bad habits from way back in the
It's
day.
like, hopefully Jim Furyk never made it into the
Yeah,
business.
and then my very first golf lesson, my pro at home was named Larry Kelly, and I
Yeah.
talked about Larry in the
A
book.
lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. He was very influential in my life. So I go in, I thought I was pretty good. I went in and I had seen somebody break par for the first time ever in my group. And I went, okay, he curved it on 1, he faded it on 2. I'm like, I got to learn how to move the ball. And I'm probably like a 8 handicap at the time. And I said, all right, I need a lesson on that. And Larry Kelly was my pro. And so we go up to a field because we didn't have a range. We go up to this
Really?
field where we're shagging our own balls. And he watches me hit a few and he says, okay, so do you want me to teach you how to curve it or do you want me to fix it? And I thought, I'm fix it. It's pretty good right
Yeah.
now. And I said, well, fix it. If it's bad, fix it. And I shanked it for 45
No
minutes.
way.
I did. Never hit a shot out of the middle of the face.
Oh.
Again, for 45 minutes. And Larry, to this day, we joke about it. And I still tell him to this day, that's the very best golf lesson I've ever gotten because I watched how he was able to maintain his composure, keep giving me, you're closer. Yeah, we're shanking it, but this part's better. I mean, he was very helpful. And I hated it for him because we had to leave and I never hit a good golf ball out of the center of the club. Looking back, I was like, man, that was amazing.
You and I have both had that lesson.
Yeah.
And I always go home, and you probably do too, like, I just ruined him. Like, what did I
Yeah,
do?
and
He didn't hit it
ironic
good.
and this is a lot about the book, I'll get into that in a second, but ironically, he didn't ruin me. He
Yeah.
probably went home thinking that
Thinking
same
it,
thing,
yeah,
right? That lesson changed my life. It made me a great golf instructor when
yeah,
I ended up going into golf business. I had no idea at the time that that's what I was gonna do. But I took what he showed me as an instructor, the patience and right that you have with
yeah,
a student when they're struggling. And he called me later that night. This is landlines, right? So he's
yeah,
calling me later that night. I show back up the next day. We go out, we kind of chip around. And
yeah.
so anyway, it was yeah, he changed my life in many ways. And Larry's actually running for secretary of the PGA right
Is he
now.
really?
Yeah, he is. Go Larry Kelly. Big shout out to my man Larry.
That's so cool. Such neat stories and such neat stories of your childhood in here. I'm not gonna give out too much in
Ah,
here, so,
yeah.
um,
Cover whatever you want.
but, so it moves towards you, basically running your own business in a gas company, a heating company, moving through that, and then moving all the way to you talking to Larry Kelly and saying, "I wanna be you. How do I be you?" And he says, "Well, you need to become a PGM school." You've already been to a couple schools, and you looked at all the schools, and I think they were like Penn State, Ferris State, Mississippi State, New Mexico State, I
Correct.
wanna say. Penn State was out, New Mexico State was out, and it was between Ferris and Mississippi State. I'm a Ferris grad, so I'm sitting there listening going, "What? You can't you why'd
It
you
was
leave the
close,
North?
man, it
Why'd
was
you leave the
close.
North?" And you went to the South. Was it because
Yeah.
it was the South? Because it was warm
You
weather? What
know
made you choose Mississippi State over Ferris
yeah,
State?
Ferris State, ironically, a friend of mine, Dudley Bell, he has since passed, started the professional tennis program at Ferris State.
Okay. No
So
way. Yeah.
he was a member of our club, my little 9-hole course in Vermont, and he helped me a lot. He made a phone call and got me in, but
Mm,
this is like 8 or 9 years after high school. I was 26 years old as a
mhm.
freshman going in. So I needed some help getting into some schools, and Mississippi State and Ferris State were my two options. I had a connection at Ferris, and Mississippi State allowed me what I thought was to play golf year round. I mean, I'm from Vermont with a
Yeah.
million feet of snow in the winter. So, and as it turned out, I go to Mississippi State. I meet the program directors, and I go into this in the book too. But I was sitting in an orientation for welcoming new students, and there was an alum up on a stage in an auditorium with, I don't know, several hundred people, 500 maybe. I'm sitting kind of in the back, and the whole time it felt like he was talking to me. And he went on about talking about how Mississippi State changed his life, and I thought, okay, if the school can change his life, then maybe it can change mine. Because I was in a dark place at that moment that I make it just before I left for school.
And so that speaker's made you say, "Hey, Mississippi State, this is where
Yeah,
I'm going."
had it not been for him, I may have, because I right after that, I walked right to the PGM office, said, "This is where I want to go. What do I do?" Had it not been for him, or had I not gone to that auditorium that day, I was set to do Ferris State's not interviews, but orientation
Yeah.
on my way back to Vermont.
Yeah.
It just so happened that Mississippi State was
Nothing
first.
is really that close to Vermont,
No,
by the
nothing is. I
way.
mean, Vermont's not even close to Vermont, right? So I was set to go, but I never made it.
Yeah.
My life
Golly.
changed, which is interesting because the book, it's not a golf book, although golf is in several chapters and
Mhm.
it creates a canvas for me to tell my story on, basically. But the book is really, on the surface, it looks like my journey,
Yeah.
right? And you know me, so it looks like my journey, but a layer deeper than that, and it's about moments that we all have. And I think this ties into doesn't matter whether you're a dentist or what you're doing, it
Yeah.
can apply. And those crossroad moments of, wow, something big is about to happen in my life and I got to decide which way to go. And those are easy for us to see, but it's also about hidden moments and
Yeah.
moments, conversations, comments, looks that someone might give you,
Yeah.
a pat on the back, an encouragement. So hidden moments, a tool to get through a challenging moment in the time, like I was doing to my daughter that
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
right? You think that that advice is helping you in the moment, and it is,
Yeah.
but so many of them just trace you throughout your entire life. It's about those moments. And then underneath that, even deeper, it's about awareness of those moments and how actually I tried to make it show in the book that I became more aware of these moments and how they were shaping me, and looking back and trying to connect dots. And then at the core of the book, it's about fear, all the fears
Yeah.
that we have, what it sounds like.
Fears like fear within those moments
Yeah, just
that should I go that direction or should I not? What do I do?
yeah, or even, can I even find a direction,
Yeah.
or why is this happening to me? All of those at the heart of the book. That's what
The
the book
good
is
and the
about.
bad.
The
Why is
good
it
and the
happening?
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah. Because I go into that too.
you question why something good is happening to you. Why do you deserve it?
Yeah, why do I deserve it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite interesting, and you had a lot of help along the way, and it's something that I tell people a lot. You need to find mentors throughout life, whether it's just, you know, with me, it's who helped me along the way to become a teacher, who helped me along the way to go to PGM school at Fair State. Each moment you have somebody to lean on, and you had a lot of people to lean on. George is one, but the others are quite famous. Okay. And one would be Mr. Bob Ford at Oakmont. What did it mean to you to work for? I mean, we all know he's number one
uh,
golf professional, might be number one in the history of the United States.
yeah.
What did it mean to you to have a mentor like him?
It changed my life. And before I answer that question, I want to mention mentorship a handful of times
Mhm.
here. And I think we confuse that role. And I think, as a mentor, ironically, you don't get to choose who you mentee. You don't get to choose who you mentor. We think we do, right? We think we do. And sometimes we like go over and put our arm around a young person or an older person, or whoever, and try to help them through a moment, but that's actually not how it works.
Yeah.
The mentee chooses you to mentor them
Yeah.
because, I mean, you can try to mentor me all day long, but if I don't want your mentorship, then I'm not going to take it. So that's really not mentorship at all. So I think, so for me, and going to college at 26 when I went to Mississippi State, and then I do end up at Oakmont, I was older than the normal college student. So I'd had a lot of life at 26 underneath me before I got there. So it allowed me to appreciate, Bob and Oakmont better. But even then, I was there for 2 years, and I called my Larry Kelly was complaining to him that I wasn't learning enough. And man, that mentor kind of smacked me around a little bit, basically over the phone. He's like, "Oh yeah, you have no idea how good it is and how good you got it right now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He said, "No, no, you don't.
That's what
But
I'm,
you will one day."
and that's what I was thinking about reading it. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you have any idea? And then Kelly just puts you in your spot like,
Yeah,
buddy,
he really did.
buddy, what did you just say to me?
Yeah, what'd
Like,
you just
what
say?
did you
You're not learning enough at Oakmont? Seriously? Come on. And they made me go through this laundry list of things that I was learning. And I do talk about that. That was a pretty big moment. You get used to something. Not that I got used to Oakmont, but I did. I got used to Oakmont. I was living upstairs with the assistants, and I walk down the stairs and go to work all day and then walk back up at
it's
one of
just
the best
like
clubs in the world. I mean, who,
you're
who gets to
immersing
do that?
yourself. Nobody.
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 Nobody gets to do
You're
that.
immersing yourself in Oakmont. It's just like seeping through you and like bleeding into you.
Yeah. I talk about that a lot,
Yeah.
about getting there and what it was like to be there and how scared I was when I got there, and then going back, the mindset that I had going back for my second year.
Yeah, and you do 2 internships there, which is quite different, and you talk about that as well. But the reason is because of Bob Ford, because he said, "I want you there."
Yeah.
And, what did it feel like to be wanted? He wanted you
Yeah.
to be
It's
there.
interesting. The story, which again, we talk about, and I'm happy to share the entire book right now, today. I'd be happy to. So we're not giving away any secrets. It'll
Yeah,
be fine. It's on paper. So
yeah.
when I trying to get to Oakmont was unbelievably hard. I had to find a pathway there and a door and a key for a door that I didn't know. For a hidden door somewhere, and you got to find a key to get there.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to have that happen. And then my internship's over, and I've got one more to do. And he promises me he's going to help me find the next one. And I'm
Mm.
like, okay, I'll go anywhere, do anything. I don't care how much it pays, anything. But I had worked over a year to get to Oakmont. And well, kind of fast forward a little bit, he calls me. I'm back in Mississippi State. And he said, "Hey, I found you an internship." And I'm like, "Awesome. Where is it?" And he said, "You don't care where you go, right?" And I said, "No, I sure don't." He said, "You don't care how much you make?" And I said, "No, I
Nope.
don't." He said, "You don't care what you do?" And I said, "No, I don't care that either. If you tell me to go, I'll go." And he said, "Okay, good. You're coming right back here to Oakmont." And I was like, "Wow, Bob, we've come a long way. I worked really hard to get in your office." And I said, "And now you want me back?" And I talk a little bit about what that felt like, him wanting me back, and how that was the moment. That one thing, getting to Oakmont wasn't the moment that I realized, okay, this golf thing could actually work out, and it could actually lead me to my goals, which are pretty lofty and elevated, which we can talk about that too if you want. But that moment of all the moments was the moment that I realized, okay, I might have what it takes to be a golf professional when Bob Ford wants you back. And mind you, that was like
that's a
this.
shot of confidence
Yeah,
like I've never had in my life, you know?
yeah. And ironically, I'd only worked at a couple of clubs
Yeah.
ever. I mean, I knew nothing. I knew next to nothing, but I did know that he was important. And I did know that he would change my life. Well, I was told that he would change my life, so I really need to pay attention. So yeah, that was the moment that it really that wanted, right, and valued and seen. And it was not for my ability. That was the part that
Mm,
was so crucial in this moment.
right,
He was not wanting me back because I was one of the best assistants in the country or best interns in the country. By
right.
far, I was not that. He wanted me back because he could see who I could potentially turn into, and he wanted to be a part of that. He wanted to be a part of that journey and help me get there. I think that's really what mentorship is all about, too.
Yeah, and there's a few moments, in this book that really got you in the door. I'll go through what I noticed is number 1, Mr. Brian, when you met him for the first time, and you were doing something that you wouldn't an average bag room, cart room attendant wouldn't be doing. You're picking weeds. And when he noticed you doing that, he said, "This person is different right
Yeah.
here." Bob Ford saw you cleaning a cart, detailing it more than anybody's probably ever done, including him, right?
Yeah.
And then you did one more thing. You cleaned up trash in a parking lot at a country club of Jackson, and that was you getting in the door. So it wasn't your ability, but it was almost like I dot the I's and cross the T's more than anybody else, even at a high level of integrity involved in it. People aren't looking at you and you're doing things that nobody else is doing. And so that doesn't take ability. It takes, I don't know what it takes, but you learn that when you were young and
Yeah, it takes awareness
awareness.
to
Yeah.
interrupt you. It takes
Yeah.
awareness that these things, not even awareness that they matter, that happens after the awareness that this moment, and this book is it's like 392 pages of moments, right? And so it's an awareness that there's a moment in front of you right now. We're having several today. And somebody listening is having a moment that they're either going to listen or not, right?
100%.
So it's about an understanding that there are moments that are in front of you and that are hiding right in front of your face, and you're never going to see them unless you know that they're there. And you don't even see all of them that are there. But if you know that there's a moment hiding right in front of you, and you just have to look for it, then it's possible you'll find it. And if you find it, now it becomes about a choice, an awareness of having a choice. You are at a crossroads, a hidden crossroads of, am I going to walk across the parking lot and pick this trash up? I mean, it's not my job. I'm in a coat and tie for an interview. Am I going to literally walk across the parking lot and pick this trash up? Or am I going to go inside? But even before that, it's, okay, there might be some trash. So look around, right? It's an awareness that moments are happening around us all the time. We can either choose to look for them or not. And then when we see them, we can either choose to act or not. And you can't act on every moment. So I think it's about that. And when I met Mr. Brian changed my life too. Mr. Brian changed my life too.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a really, like I've said, inspiring book. And I hope everybody can get a chance to read it. I have some fast questions for you
All
now.
right,
So
fire away.
we've done a lot with the book here. I want to fire some good ones at you here. Let's see here. Best golf tip you've ever received.
It's the ghost.
The
It's the ghost.
ghost.
Yeah. Sorry. Fast. I'm going to get a
Yeah,
two-stroke penalty.
yeah.
It's about the ghost, and it's about a negative image that happens when your eyes are looking at the top of a golf ball when you putt. And if you move the golf ball away really fast, a dark circle shows up on the ground. It could be in the shade or it could be in the daylight, and your eyes see a dark spot on the putting green. That's a negative image because your eyes were focused on the top of the golf ball and they're still. The only way you can see the image is if your eyes are still. The ball goes away, there's a black circle. And
Okay.
the best days that I putt the best, I see the ghost. And the
Okay.
days that I don't putt well, I don't see the ghost, and it's because my eyes are moving. And if your eyes are moving, your head moves. So
I love that.
it's seeing the ghost. That's the
I
best one.
I love that. Hardest shot in golf for you?
Hardest shot in golf for me would be a low punch underneath a tree.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The club gets a little in front of my hands. It hops up in there on me.
Most intimidating first tee shot in all of golf?
I mean, for me, it was standing on the first tee at Oakmont.
No doubt.
The first time that they asked me to host a members group of guests, I was representing me,
Yeah.
Bob, Oakmont. I mean, that was a lot of pressure.
The nerves in your hand.
Yeah, that was a lot of pressure.
All right. Best major venue for spectators that you've ever been to?
It's either Augusta or it's Oakmont.
Yeah.
Oakmont's everything's right there. You can see everything. I would actually say Oakmont. You can see it
Okay.
all. You can
Okay.
see everything.
I was wondering if you'd say
Yeah, you
Oakmont.
can
Yeah.
see everything, and I'm a little partial to Oakmont, but you can literally see almost every hole from the clubhouse.
What is your favorite golf memory? Tough
I got to
questions.
play golf with my dad one time. One time, he wasn't a golfer.
He wasn't a golfer.
He wasn't
Yeah.
a golfer. I got to play with him and my brother one time. I was in PGM.
Yeah.
I was in PGM school. We went out and played. I have no idea what any of us shot, but I only ever played golf with him once. So for those of people that get to play with their dad or their granddad, it's a pretty special thing. Yeah, cherish
Yeah.
it because I only
Yeah.
got to do it once.
If you had one shot to save your life, what club are you hitting?
I'm hitting a putter. I'm hitting a putter,
You're a good
or I'm
putter.
going to drive it. I'm
Yeah.
either going to hit a drive or
Yeah.
no, it's going to be the putter. I putt great.
Yeah. One course everyone should play before they die. You can't say Oakmont.
And I can't say Oakmont. One course
Because that would be mine too.
That would be yours
yeah,
too, right?
Absolutely.
I think it would be St. Andrews, right? The home and the spirit of the game. I've never played it, but
Yeah.
if you have the financial whereabouts to go about and wherewithal actually to go do it, I think that would be a great one to play.
What is the biggest misconception about good golfers?
That it's easy
Yeah.
and that they're not thinking about anything. There's a reason half of them slam the trunk on Friday. Thinking now when they're playing the best, they're probably thinking less, but it doesn't matter how good you are, you want to be better. And you don't stop thinking about how to play better.
I've always had to tell beginners because they see good players, and I have to tell them it's the same lesson with good players that it is with you. It's just on a different level.
Yeah,
It's the
it's a
same thing.
it's a deeper level, more polished, more refined.
Yeah. Favorite hole in all of golf?
All right, favorite hole you're going to like this one. My favorite hole is the 15th hole at my home club in Vermont, a little public golf course. It's
Really?
about 185 yards on a highly elevated tee, and there's a swamp on the left, and it's this little banana kind of shaped green, and you're either putting or you're in the woods on the right or in the swamp on the bottom. I love that hole. Every time I go there, no matter what tee I'm playing, I always got to step back and go all the way to the back and try to hit a shot onto that green. That's my favorite hole, and it's at St. John's Way Country Club in my hometown.
That's awesome. Your dream foursome, alive, not here with us, your dream foursome.
This is going to sound pretty corny.
Yeah.
Okay. So my dream foursome is probably a threesome. Yeah, it's really a threesome.
Okay.
And it's played with my younger self, my future self, and me, my today self.
When you read the book, you can see that.
Yeah.
If you played with your 19-year-old first grab of golf.
I want to talk to him. I actually talk to him every day. I wrote, and I brought mine too. This is the first book that was actually printed, and I signed it to my younger self, and then I signed it to my current self, and I signed it to my future self. And I read it every day before I start work. I read it. It's pretty powerful stuff in there.
That's really
So that would be my dream threesome.
Do you think, like, now that you've written a book, does it really help you mentally to look back on everything? Does it help you mentally to look into your future? Because a lot of people probably, and I don't, do enough journaling. It's almost journaling where you're writing down your feelings and your
was not a
thoughts.
journaler. I wish I would have been,
Yeah.
because I think I could have tapped into the emotions better, because I would have had a true in the moment, hard evidence of where it was. I'm sorry, I got to think about that. What's the question?
I mean, everyone probably needs did it help you out when you wrote
Oh,
everything
yeah, yeah,
down,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like personally?
Yes, it does. It
Yeah.
does. I'll tell you what it did. I'm a pretty deep thinker. I have been my whole life of
Mm,
why? Why does this work? Why is that happening? What happens if I try to do something different? That's why I struggle hitting balls for more than 10 minutes because I'm like, I wonder what happens if I do this, right, with the club.
yeah.
So I think I've been a deep thinker on that stuff my whole life. But here's what reflecting has allowed me to do. And I think it gets, I don't know that we realize this until you do it. If you get really good at reflecting, and that's not connecting the dots, anyone can do that. It's going back to a moment and saying, okay, here was a moment. This was the point in time. This is what was happening. Where does that fit in my life? Not where do I want it make sense in my life,
Yeah.
but where does it actually fit in the journey of my life?
Yeah.
Not everything fits on the path.
Cor
So what it has allowed me to do is to look at the moment at hand and decide, how is this moment shaping where I'm going? Where is this going to lead me if I actually pay attention to what this is happening today? Where does that potentially take me? I may never go that direction, but it's like, where does this podcast today, where does it take me?
Yeah.
Right. And maybe if you're 18 years old, maybe this is the thing that makes you realize you want to be an investigative journalist and you want to be on TV doing the news. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, you have no
Yeah.
idea.
Right.
But if you only live in the moment and you don't extrapolate back what enabled that moment to happen, and then forecasting where can this moment actually take me, then all we're doing is living in the moment. And people say live in the moment all the time. I'm like, that's like the most boringest place to live because there's so little meaning in the moment. They're just things happening.
I haven't even thought about that. That's phenomenal. How do we motivate the next generation?
I think, yeah,
Read this.
read the book, right?
Yeah.
I don't know is that I don't. I mean, everybody gets motivated differently.
Sure.
Where some are right, some are motivated by money, some are motivated by power, right influence, whatever. But we all, regardless of where we came from, how big our house was, how fancy our cars were, how designer our clothes are, we all have goals and we all have a dream. And I think the easiest way to motivate them is to get them to talk to you about it, right? I mean, they got to
Yeah.
talk to you about their dream, not yours. So
Yeah.
if you can get them to talk about what they aspire to be, and then I think that's ultimately what they want. They want to be heard, and yet, right? They want to be seen
Mm.
and they want to be heard. Those are kind of phrases. We wanted that too in my day. We just didn't have these fancy words like seen and heard back then associated with them, but we wanted it too,
Yeah.
right? And ironically, in order to be seen and heard, you also have to be vulnerable and willing. So it's a two-part thing. I think a lot of us believe that it's up to somebody else to see us, up to somebody else to hear us, up to somebody else to value us. And while that's true, that does need to come our way. The way we earn that is by seeing somebody else, valuing somebody else, and listening to somebody else. So, I mean, if we do that, I think if all the things that you want, if you can find a way to deliver to somebody else what you want, I think you'd be shocked at how often you get what you actually want in return.
That's awesome. Phenomenal stuff.
Thank you.
Phenomenal stuff.
Thank you.
Like I said, really good book. So here it is, Dream Driven for the Self Not Yet Met.
That's correct. My future self.
And your future self. And it's so neat to see your notes in there, writing to yourself, your future self, and all that stuff. I mean, it's really cool. So great book. You can get it on Amazon. You're starting to do some book readings, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. You're getting it out there a little bit more. And that's one of the things you said, I haven't even really advertised it yet. So, I'm excited to get you on here, excited to talk to you. And it was a really, really cool read. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, we
Thank
can't
you.
leave yet.
Yes.
Okay, because there's one thing, maybe the most important thing I'm going to say, and it
Yes.
didn't really fully make it into the book,
Oh, yeah.
but I did a reading and I had 3 people come tell me it was their takeaway, and they were my age, so they were professionals in their 50s,
Okay.
and I didn't have a place to feed it in your questions, but
Okay.
I don't want to leave without saying it.
Yeah.
So, my dream was to become a golf pro, to become a PGA pro. And then I got into PGM school, like 200 people sitting in the room. And I realized, okay, that's not going to be enough because I'm going to compete against all these
Yeah.
students, right, for the same job. So then I realized I wanted to be one of the best in the country because that would eliminate the majority of the people in the room. I wouldn't have to compete with them. And then I got to work for Bob at Oakmont, and I realized, okay, that one of the best isn't that's not enough anymore. The other side of the river, right, of the canyon just got pushed further away as I saw greatness in Bob, and I realized the bridge that I had built from where I was to one of the what I perceived, not that I even knew what it meant, one of the best in the country. That bridge no longer spanned the gap. So I started chasing what I saw in Bob, which was greatness. And I measure greatness. Well, it sounds pretty arrogant, right? That you're chasing greatness. Who's can do that? So it sounds pretty arrogant, and it is unless you know what it means. And greatness to me means impact on others through the game of golf and on the game of golf. That's how I measure the greatness in Bob.
Mm,
It's not his awards and his abilities and all that. It's the impact he has on literally everybody and on the game. So that's what I decided to chase. And here's the problem. I never told anybody. It's hard enough to tell somebody you want to be a golf pro because who becomes a professional golfer or a
sure,
golf professional already,
sure.
right? But as soon as I decided I wanted to chase greatness, I realized I was going to get a lot of negative feedback on that,
Mm,
external feedback on that. Who are you? Who do you think you are to chase that? Why are you worthy to do this? Right. And so I protected that dream like you would protect a child. And I did a great job. And not a single scar on my dream for 2 decades. And yet that's because I never told anybody. And I also didn't tell the people that could help me. So in my effort to protect my dream and to protect myself, right, for the fears of the negative impact of the negative questions and comments I was going to have, and then have to defend chasing greatness, I never told Bob for
yeah,
2 decades. I got to work for the greatest of all time. How do you not tell him
yeah.
that you're chasing this for 2 decades? And then when I finally told him, he paused for like, I don't know, 15 seconds or so over the phone, and he said, "Good for you, Jace. Good for you." I'm like, my gosh, how come I didn't tell him 2 decades ago? And I was too afraid. I was too afraid of the negative sides. Yeah, I protected my dream big time,
Mm,
but I also kept it from growing. So tell people what they are. The ones you want around you and in your corner are going to tell you it's amazing, no matter how high it is. And the ones that are going to knock it all down, those aren't the ones that you want in your corner. Anyways, walk on by and try not to pay attention to them.
man, I love it. Good stuff,
That's it. I
Jason.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
That was awesome.
Dream big and be dream driven.
That's awesome. Thank you.